and officially kick it off, right? So Manuel, thanks again, right, for taking the time. Extremely happy to have you here. You are being the first ever co-host of our high-rise masterclass, with many to come. Again, it's a format that we are doing to just offer value added to our high-rise students, right? Our talents, having external experts come in that A, join our community, but B, share something valuable, something to put in our pockets to take away with, right? So making sure it's not only us, the high-rise staff, but also other people that contribute to the learning experience and make sure they convey a real world experience when it comes to learning, right? So that's why we invited you. Again, format is very informal. It doesn't have to be, it shouldn't be just like a regular, university class. Feel free to do it as interactive as you like, or as you do not like. I think I would open it up quickly to you to introduce yourself, and very relevant, I think, to the people on the call and also the ones that can't be here that we'll share the video with. What was your path, your journey into sales? Why are you here? I mean, it's not like you're 40 years, 50 years old.
I appreciate that.
You're still also relatively young. So how come you started the sales playbook, and why sales at all?
Why I started sales playbook 2.5 years ago, well, good 2 years ago, was actually out of, I think, 3 triggers. One is just that I believe strongly that entrepreneurs can change the world for the better if we help them become commercially successful. And especially like startups, entrepreneurship, it's like you build shit and you sell shit and everything is as is bullshit. That's a bit simplified. We're pretty good at building in Western Europe compared to US. We're not so good at selling. So I think like selling is actually the biggest leverage to help people become successful in Western Europe, especially also in DACH. The second trigger was really leading sales from basically day one. I was the first business hire for a machine learning scale up or a startup then. And I got the task to get a sales coach, basically, or sales trainer. And the landscape was just really full with like 50, 60-year-old people like, Chaka, you just need to do more and like pick up the phone and be motivated, and like Tony Robbins. And still charging like 5K like for 1 or 2 days training. And you didn't get much more than like 3-page PDF. And I thought that's a lot of money for a startup. And that must be possible better. So that's why we developed the full self-learning platform and like 50+ templates and group coachings and a mastermind group of 20+ people. I started in sales, besides like selling basically post stamps in high school or so, on this sort of thing, back in 2009, I think, for 2 months in door-to-door sales, like on pitching 200 times, like getting basically bashed 190 times, I guess, 195, depends, which I kind of enjoyed, like made 8K in 2 months out in the sun, like talking to people. Made the experience that if you just friendly ask, like you actually get positive feedback sometimes. And then getting back into sales at Tesla, like after my bachelor's degree, sales and marketing, selling, helping to sell last Tesla Roadsters way back, way different times at Tesla then, decade ago. And then also like implementing Salesforce for 3.5 years at Accenture, and just basically implementing the system on quote to cash, but also answering these stupid requests for proposals for a 1 million pilot project and these sort of things.
Yeah, very interesting. I mean, especially that you said your first job was door-to-door sales, right? That was your first experience?
Yeah, and if I could make it happen, I think that should be mandatory for every entrepreneur and salesperson.
Now, that's very interesting that you say that, because I think what lots of our students struggle with, especially when they get to our core training module, it's all about letting them, get a taste of what real sales is like as an SDR. And lots of it is cold outreach. That's the best. That's the best training we can think of, even though they may work for a company that includes, inbound qualification heavily if they're lucky enough, but they may not be. So we want them to train it and learn it from scratch. How was that for you? How did you overcome the 99 no's? And I imagine there were some that were very unpleasant no's, right? People shutting the door in front of your face. So
it was
how
actually,
did you deal with it?
It was actually like on public spaces, like train stations, like big squares and so on. I don't know if that's better or worse than on people's doors. So people are not at home, like they're moving somewhere, they're not at ease but on the other hand, you don't intrude people's privacy. I think a part of it was just like basically, yeah, like my other summer job fell through due to kind of like, well, something not happening in that company. And I was just there and like starting off, and like it was just like, here's a script, go. I mean, at least you get a script, which is better than most companies today. And you got a team lead, like, go. And like it's just what people do, what your team lead does. And I mean, some people came like at 5 p.m. they were crying. It's like, I didn't close any deal, and like the guy told me like you will not succeed, and got sent home after a day, right, probation period, so to say. And like another one on Tuesday, and was like, they did one deal on the first day, so that was good, that was fun, let's do more of it. And I mean, yeah, it's every Monday morning. It's really strange. Every Monday morning you're there like, can I really, why am I talking to random people that don't want to talk to me? And like after 10 times, like it's pretty okay.
So just by practice, right? It just gets better the more often you do it. And as you said, right, that's a key insight. You're very thankful for that experience, obviously, right?
Yeah, yeah, for sure. For sure. I think I would not be married, at least not to Miriam, to the same girl, like without that experience. Like, because I was coming back to university of 2 months of being on the street, like just really regular, just talking to her. Like, okay, I was also drunk that had maybe as well. And basically, this is recorded, right? So don't send it to her, maybe.
That's okay. That's the way. We cut that one out.
No, like leave it. Just don't send it to her. That's fine. Yeah. But basically just asking her like, hey, quick question, where are you going? So you get this very natural thing of not overthinking things. And a lot of people inside, like, I think like, oh, I have this very complicated subject line of high-rise sales academy, increasing rates of getting a job in B2B tech sales. Let me tell you about all the features and components. And like being in this very rough, like type of sales just helps you to be very natural and learn how to very naturally communicate. Another example, and another maybe quick example before we dive right in is like, once I basically talked to one, like I was rather shy, I'd argue, my mother don't, but basically asking girls like, hey, or do you have like 1 minute for basically kids in need, like in Puerto Rico, that to get them an education. Was for a non-profit organization, which I still support today, 10 years later. And like, yeah, sure, I'm fine. I was like, but at one point, he's like, yeah, but only 17. Am I okay to sign? I was like, no, you're not, but just give me your mobile phone number and we'll talk in a year. I knew I was finishing the job in 3 weeks. It was just for fun. I was like, yeah, okay. 079. I was like, really? Really? Wow. Why? It's like, but it's just like, if you're confident, but you don't care so much about the results, things happen much better than actually if you basically go there and you worry and you get this commission breath on one side of like, I need to close a deal, I need money from you, but also not like, oh, I'm disturbing it.
Yeah, what we say, it's think about, or think in terms of sales process. You always sell the next step, right? You never sell the final product. You never want to close the deal that day. First and foremost, you're always selling to human beings, right? We're people, we're no machines that need to be sold to. And second, think about the next step. Don't think about the whole, everything that needs to happen in order for you to land that deal. Just sell the next step.
Yeah, I would even take it one step further, and like, sales is helping people solve problems and helping them to take an informed decision if you can help them solve that problem. So it's much more, the sales process nowadays, like it's becoming a buyer-centric world. So think about what does need to happen for them to understand and evaluate and eventually like buy from you and like get that benefit from you. And that's in Germany, Austria, Switzerland, a huge problem that people always think like, oh, this is about money. It's not.
Yeah.
This is much more about, I think like I can help people similar than you, and they've been tremendously successful with. So let me ask you a few questions if this is helpful for you as well. I'm here to provide you value, and if it doesn't, like, that's fine.
Beautiful. And I love that you say that, because that's exactly the same message that we're paying into, right? It's about providing value. Think of yourself as a trusted advisor, right?
Yeah.
Great. So we're already fully in it, right? We're already talking quick wins. Now, without any further ado, right, Manuel, feel free to take over, right? So the stage is yours. Again, extremely happy for you to be here, for you to share your insights and learnings. Anything that you can share will be extremely valuable to all of us going forward.
Yeah, for sure. Very happy to. And I mean, contact details are here. If after the session you get a question, so like hit me up, send me an email, scan the code. Like also if you want to jump on a one-to-one, my schedule is a bit messed up these days, but with somebody from my team that's also in an SDR role typically, so can talk on peers like, hey, how was your ramping time? How was your experience? How was your rejection? How was your first deal? Very happy, like if you want to take that opportunity. Why you're here, right? I mean, it's a bit what we talked about, like what are the expectations maybe from your side? If all of you can just briefly type to the chat the one thing that would benefit you the most today. That would be amazing, just like in 3-4 words.
So if you see, right, everyone down below in chat, select to everyone, or you just select to sales playbook, right, which is then Manuel. What are your expectations? What are you looking forward to? If you don't know, say, hey, you just here open to learn, totally fine too.
Yeah. But I will not continue until every one of you just typed in at least like something.
Yeah, that's great. You also type something in.
Doesn't need to be poetic. How to be successful as an SDR in general, but helpful, leaving with a cool actionable insight I could adopt for myself. Yeah. Amita, Dolphy, Mark. How to gain trust. I think Speed of Trust is still the best business book and in general that I read. How to do prospecting better. Cool. Mark, anything you'd like to add? You can also at any time unmute yourself and just speak up, by the way. Like this is not about me presenting slides. Mark, anything from your side? Come on, you're making this really easy for me. How to gain confidence. Yeah, cool. So maybe let me just share a few basic sales house rules which actually tie into this confidence and into kind of the whole remote sales process. Just so you understand a bit where the SDR role fits in as well and like how the whole funnel works. But that shouldn't take more than 10 minutes. And then actually 5 initiatives you can actually do in a few days, even like I think much quicker. How to get a quiz running, how to do scheduling, how to do like use LinkedIn better, how to do VSLs, video sales letter, and how to do scripting. So it just can be more confident and more persistent. So we got roughly the second half. So you can ask me any questions that you like, be it SDR specific, be it sales specific, be it career path specific. If at any time, like I just leave the QR code here. I think we pretty much covered that, what the expectations are. This is a bit more specific, but I just want to help you basically validating also some initiatives fast, validating if email works for you, if LinkedIn works for you, if cold calling works for you, if a new script works for you, and that you can actually use some things that are already proven that they work and you don't need to do everything from scratch. So these are just a few results like some customers of my company achieved recently. So they closed the $250,000 ARR deal, basically like adding double digit to the ARR. They doubled their monthly recurring revenue, closed like a larger 3-year deal of 150,000 euros compared to 5 to 10K deals before. And I think the third one is most relevant for you here, that they regularly achieve above 30% reply rates and actually like high booking rates as well on outbound sales campaigns.
Manuel, can you say again, to those of us that don't know, what is ARR and MRR?
Sorry, annual recurring revenue. So they actually closed 250,000 British pounds in that case, that basically are multi-year, so that the customer does this every year for them.
Mm-hmm. Great.
Cool. A few house rules. I don't know if the terms exist. Maybe I just coined it at one point, but it's some things I just discovered that, I mean, everybody's talking about technology and HubSpot versus Salesforce and Salesloft versus Outreach and basically subject lines and la-di-da. But a few things are just very critical to get right in the beginning, I think. And many very seasoned salespeople don't do this stuff. So the first one is sales is not about ego. It's not about pitching. It's not about giving you a demo, giving you a presentation, giving you like arguments. It's about listening and understanding first and caring and understanding what somebody needs to be successful. not just in your product niche, but in his whole game. Like, when does a person get promoted? When is the company successful? Why haven't they fixed it? And it's called beginner's mind. I think that's actually for you a bit easier than for a 50-year-old salesperson that has spent 30 years in the profession. But just adopt that beginner's mind and basically don't think so much about what you do, what your solution is. Just generally try to understand the problem. And might be that you find out you cannot really help that, or you're not the ideal person. I sometimes have this, for example, people approach me and it's like, hey, can you help me? Like, I'm doing this B2C stuff, direct to consumer selling, and our average contract value is $200. And so, can you help me? It's like, yep. A lot of the stuff around ideal customer profile and messaging and funnel is relevant, but I'm not the best person. We do B2B. We do ticket size anywhere of like 5,000 to 500,000 Swiss francs, euros. So I basically like, I just try to be helpful. Like point number 9, basically like, hey, may I connect you to this person from your industry who's really good at that? Then the next 3 points, like 4 to 6, are actually like, how can you help people to make it really easy to understand and evaluate and buy from you? So it's not about information dropping, but it's about how can you make it specific. For example, a demo should not take more than 3 minutes, I think, if you do the discovery really, really well before. If the solution you're selling has 27 features, ask about the two problems that are most relevant, and you're gonna be able to do a demo only on like 2 or 3 of these features, how they solve the specific problem. And then play it back. It's like, how do you feel that solves your problem? Did I get you right? Because the other thing is just not valuable, right? And then if you take one thing away from today, it's just date in, date out. And I think as an SDR, it's so critical, because sometimes you cold call or you drop an email and the person like, yeah, let's talk sometime, but just put them up. Like, if you have a phone number, pick up the phone, don't send them another email, and just like, okay, great. Like, would you mind just sharing 5 minutes of input with me? Why you selected the current solution? What would you need to basically consider that, and put it into the calendar every single time. All of our customers know that I'm incredibly annoying on this, and like every single time a customer success call, even if I could just let it run, I will basically make sure like, when's the next call? In 1 week, 2 weeks, 4 weeks, I don't care. But it saves you so many CRM reminders and emails and just thinking of it and dropping the ball. It's also a point, you will this when you sell larger deals, like let's say anything above 20K, you will encounter this, that you will have more than one person that needs to be convinced by this. Like, let's say you sell to a head of marketing, but then a marketing manager needs to be on board, and the chief revenue officer needs to be on board, and maybe the board needs to be on board. So you don't want to run through this discovery and qualification and buyer journey process like countless times with one person, then another one, then another one. So you want to basically make sure you understand what needs to happen from now to the successful rollout, and then get people on board earlier. And if people just tell you like, yeah, just give me a free trial, send me a deck, give me a reference call, like, don't give away like stuff that's really valuable for you, like without nothing in return. Like, basically then ask like, okay, I'm happy to give you an offer, but let me first better understand what is it exactly that you're solving. I want to understand what's most valuable for you. And then who's actually, can you decide on this offer? If I send you something with DocuSign, can you sign it? Does somebody else need to be on board? Because otherwise you're just going back and forth. And if people in the beginning ask you like, Amita, how much does that cost? Like, oh, that's expensive. Like at the beginning, if you just say cost, that's more than zero. Right now they join the call with 0 costs from you. And then it's like, whatever, one euro, 10 euros, 10,000 euros. And it's just costs and there's no benefit. So help people to first understand, if they have operating costs of 1 million and you can reduce these by 7%, that's 70,000 euros. And make sure they fully get 70,000 euros in their head, in their situation. And then you can basically say, so they ask like, okay, how much is your solution? But well, I think we can realize like a 5 to 10x ROI, because our solution is going to be around 10,000 euros. But then it becomes this investment to realize a benefit. If it's just you saying there's a benefit and the other person doesn't get it, it's just cost and nothing will happen. So you really need, you can give people a ballpark figure. You can give people like typically customers invest a 5-digit amount, 10,000 to 99,000 euros to realize a 6-digit amount in benefits. Typically people save operational costs of between 200 and 200,000 and a million, and they invest 40 to 50K to get that done. Are we able to further discuss the case that you can and should do? Because the person might say like, oh, I thought this is just like a shopware plugin and it costs 99 bucks. Like, oh, well, it's not going to happen. Do you have any questions on these house rules?
Not from my side. I think they're all very clear. And I think what stands out to me, right, again, is focus 100% on who you're talking to, right? Your lead, your prospect, your potential customer.
Yeah.
Listen, make sure it's about value, not about the cost of things, being helpful, being the trusted advisor. And all that starts with mentality, right? And it starts with your attitude towards things. And if you adopt that, and that's also one of the questions I think that Mark had, right? I was playing it with the confidence. If you have the kind of mindset that takes lots of potential fear of rejection out of the equation. Of course, right? It only comes with repeating and repeating, but adopting that mindset is critical, I think, in sales.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And I think this way you can also transform your mindset, if not already done, to I'm actually helping a customer understand if I can help them, and it's not me disturbing somebody while working.
Totally. Great. Cool.
Remote sales process or also non-remote process, like honestly, like it works fairly similar, but if you can do more physical meetings, you tend to do like physical efforts like much earlier, where you maybe should just in the preparation phase, like you didn't do the connect and prepare phase so diligently. So in a nutshell, people always think sales is this execution phase, like it's showtime when you're in the call, in the meeting, in a virtual coffee, whatever. That's like still what we're doing here. We're talking face to face. I can see you, you can see me. This is synchronous communication, but it starts much earlier. I think Dominic and I known each other for 6 months, 4 months. Mm-hmm. And I think we exchanged like 7-8 emails to really make sure, like, are we hitting hopefully the intention, like, is this the right timing and so on. So we discussed the agenda. We basically said, like, is this useful? Who's in this call? So I think we were on the phone like for a prep call on Monday. And like I invested in like getting a script, like getting this base for discussion together. I don't have an account plan that I want to sell you anything or so here, but I mean, do it if it's like larger deals and you need to understand how exactly are the dynamics working. Even earlier on, for example, in this case, I think somebody mentioned like High Rise Academy or Head Start basically, and I reached out and was like, hey, it's interesting what you're doing. I think you're tackling a huge problem in sales talent sourcing education. Can we jump on a phone? Like, here's how I see the world, or here's how we discuss the topic with somebody else. And use not only like email, use phones, use letters, use videos, use physical things, use warm introductions, right? It's not that there's this thing of just having email and, oh, didn't reply to 5 emails, I sent a 6th email. That's not where we are today. People underestimate the value of like physical letters. And I think then what many people fail at, I mean, is the date in, date out part in the follow-up, like on the same day, send the follow-up, like templatize it where it's useful for you, but do like a 1 to 3 minute video wrap up. Nail a call to action. What would you like people to do? I see so many salespeople just going out there and after the video, like, thanks for the discussion. Here's our sales deck. Kind regards. It's like, what do you want me to do now? I don't get it. Are you expecting me to go to the 22-page slide deck and figure out how it ties into my organization? That's not my job. Like SalesLoft, for example, 1 billion unicorn company now in the sales enablement space. They actually shared a document with us on like 15 pages and basically said like, Salesforce, and this is the implementation time and this is the service level agreement. It's like, mate, just send me a 3-minute Loom video, like a video sales letter, how you understand our situation, how this brings value to us, and what exactly the fuck you would like me to do. Don't need to send me 15 pages, but the guy was lazy and it was like, yeah, generic thing, 15-page offer, like
Yes.
somewhere form. I was like, hey, like, look, if you're not willing to invest 3 minutes into having me spend 5K, I'm just not going to do it. I'm just not trusting it that this will work. And then other people telling me like, oh, it actually doesn't have a HubSpot integration. It's like, yeah, we kind of have it. It's going to be fine. It's like, didn't see it,
Yeah.
don't trust it, didn't invest, offers as Salesforce, we have HubSpot, not going to happen. So don't have sales loft in place. Gonna go with outplay, I guess.
And I love that you say that, Manuel, because see, in one of our core modules, we also ask them to, so we ask our students to create scripts themselves, right? And
Yep.
also experience the ones that don't work, but they have to experience it themselves. And before they are willing to iterate and adapt. And on emailing, we had 2 that included a Calendly link.
Yeah.
And I also, one of the comments I had was, that's lazy. Calendly, there's actually an alternative. It's beautiful for you sending out a Calendly link, but it's work for the receiving person, because they have to match their calendar to what slot you have, right? They need to open up your slots, their own calendar. And even that is lazy. So to that, I can only chime in, I can only confirm and say, hey, do not be lazy, right? Make it about the other person.
Yeah. I think it's still better than sending email ping pong, which 80% of people still do. It was like, hey, would you like to jump on a call? Like, yes. Okay, can you do Tuesday? No, I cannot do Tuesday. Can you do Wednesday? I can do Wednesday. And like, you have like roughly 5 to 6 emails, zero value add, just friction, reducing the basically increasing the action threshold, reducing basically excitement. I think what's better is, I mean, ask for that. Typically you get in a signature, you get an email phone number, and then just call. It's like, hey, thanks so much for your reply. I just checked it out. Like, I understand you're really busy, but when's a good time for you? Rather next week or the week after? How does Tuesday 8 a.m. work? It was like 8 a.m. doesn't work. And then typically the person is like, yeah, but afternoon 2 p.m. Can you make that happen? Like, need to shift a few things, but gonna make it happen for you. Thanks. I will send you the invite. I will send the agenda. I will do the invite. How can I help you best prepare for this? What might I prepare for you?
Perfect.
Yeah, but I mean, always do the work for the customer, make it as easy as possible. Cool. Any questions on this sales process here?
I have a question, Manuel.
Okay.
Yeah, just a couple of questions. One is, sorry, Dominic, I'm on module 2 itself, so I'm not sure if this is already covered. But one thing I wanted to ask is, number one, how okay is it to propose for a meeting in the first call or first message itself? Or because when we sell an enterprise product, we say that you have to focus more on developing a trust and managing a relationship, right? So
right.
When do you think is the right time to propose for a meeting? How many interactions later on, or how do we go about it?
Meeting as in physical meeting or a call?
Maybe just a call, initial call.
Manuel, before you answer, let's do a quick exercise, right? Because again, Amita just joined this week, right? And it's very early on. Great question, Amita. Let's see if one of our other high-rise students that's further along can answer that. So just repeating, you have a client on the phone, a potential client, which would be a lead, right? When you first talk to the person, is it okay to already suggest a meeting? Should you already ask for a meeting in that very first call, in that very first interaction? That's the question asked. Now, I know that, for example, Mark and Dolphy, you've already passed that stage. Anything you want to ask or share your view?
Yeah, I would say that's the point of the call, is to get to that next step. And the next step would be the meeting to describe what offerings that you have and try to find out more about the client and what they need.
Yeah, I would like to jump on, like ask them to jump on a call right away on the first call, ask for the availability. Yeah.
Great. Manuel, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, likewise, and it's stunning sometimes how many how many people budge around like picking up the phone and just scheduling something as if it would be a really bad thing, and actually not scheduling that. And I was like, someone's like, oh, I have this guy, like he's in a nurturing sequence and he opened 4 emails, like which nurturing sequence on the base on leads calling should I put him in? I was like, my answer to that is typically like, do you have a phone number? It's like, yep. It's like, call. Like nobody wants to get stuck in a nurturing sequence. If the person's interested, I would probably want to talk to somebody, ask 2 questions, like see how it works, get asked a few questions, or make sure the other person understands, and then I want to take a decision. Nobody ever wanted to see a demo and do a POC and like read 20 pages of PowerPoint. Like, no, it's bullshit.
Yep. So I mean, if that answers the question, right, that's exactly the point, right? You still, to this day, I'm a firm believer, cold calling is the most effective way on reaching someone. Now, if you have a company with very good marketing, like HubSpot, for example, right? They're very, very, very good with lead generation. They have warm leads. Yeah. So of course you call the warm leads, but let's say if you're in a regular company, still picking up the phone is at least the best way to get the fastest feedback, because it's no async communication, right? An email can be patient, it can sit there. So that's what you want to do. You want to pick up the phone and you want to sell the next step. You want to sell them an investment of 20 to 30 minutes on jumping on a call with you to see if you mutually can help each other providing value.
Yeah.
But we'll get to that in great length. No worries.
Okay.
Cool stuff. Any other questions on the sales process itself? No, otherwise just jump in. So here I really want to give you like 5 things you can implement within weeks. I think it can be done in days. Did all of this stuff like in a few hours. The first thing is implementing discovery quiz. And I copy this link here, just putting it in chat, get the discovery quiz. So what this link does for you, it actually just linking to a HubSpot quiz. And what we do, and this is, I can show you real time, is if anybody basically goes to schedule a call, we just always send like this basically 2 minutes for discussion. And the copywriting is important, words matter. We really want to understand how we can best help you before consuming your, and quite frankly, our valuable time. Then go ahead, book the call at your convenience after submitting the form. So where are you right now? And for us, it's revenue is important. Like we sales acceleration company, like startup going, okay, what's the current challenge? We talk SDRs, finding and generating more leads. It's fine. Closing deals. Okay, cool. I'm B2B SaaS. It's just me basically. This is the average contract value. I didn't fix this because I'm just having a lot on my plate. My name is Manuel, Hartmann, XYZ. And this is basically that. And I want to start now to see the time frame. I'm willing to invest 40 amount. Don't have much money, like head start demo, basically. And these are just a few questions like, okay, this is my phone number, not too much validation in it, low friction. I heard about this as a partner, let's say High-Rise. This is Manuel, la-di-da-di-da, and I can actually review it. So it doesn't take so long. And I mean, right now, if you think about like who fills out all these 16 questions, I'll give you the answer. Because if the answer is like 219 people on that jot form, there's another basically 100 people on Startup Sales Summit feedback 2021 was 80. And we have also more on like last year's summit as well. We actually did like 50 order forms this way. Just so you get commitment before the actual discovery call.
Manuel, say again, when do you send it out?
Excellent question. We get this in pretty much every group coaching call. It's when you, at one point you need to get this information. So at the point you're pretty confident that somebody has enough intrigue and you created enough value to actually get it done. Typically, like, I mean, depends a bit on your calendar and the potential you see, but typically let maybe people book a call in your calendar first and they're like, thanks so much, I'm really looking forward to the call so I can prepare. Ideally, please share 2 minutes of input before our call. Then if you basically run like a campaign or so, we test this with for example, paid advertisement a bit. If you just put people on a quiz from ice cold, they don't fill out the quiz because they have zero trust.
Yeah.
If you get an inbound lead to you as an SDR, this would be more inside sales rep maybe, but and then it's basically like, okay, shall I take the call? Shall I not take the call? It's like, hey, great, just fill out, share 2 minutes of input. You came to me, this is important to you. Then book a call, and then you get this always in doubles. Book call in the calendar, and you know what to talk about.
Because that's what that would have been my assumption, right? So for example, like, at high rise, students doing cold calls, usually the receiving party, the lead, doesn't know yet if it's valuable enough for them to provide that information.
Yeah.
Just sold the discovery call here, I wouldn't know if people would fill out the quiz. Right,
yeah,
right
so you need to provide either value or intrigue first. So you need to either say like, here's basically like, here's some customer success stories. Here's like what other people have achieved. You want to achieve the same thing? Like, yes, I do. Okay, cool. Tell me your situation. I'd love to learn about how this translates to you. Or you create intrigue in the sense of like, hey, you've been maybe at basically a certain webinar or whatever, or you want to get like this thing, and you want to get 14 presentations from the Startup Sales Summit, and you just fill out the quiz, and that's fine.
Yeah, great. Because I think for inbound leads, that's great, right? Because they're at a different stage, right? They may not be in awareness stage; they're already in discovery stage. They found you. They may already consider you. They've done their research. They already see the value. Otherwise, they wouldn't have submitted the form, right? That led to them becoming a lead.
Right. And I mean, in the end, like people are like, yeah, but it's kind of hard to ask for money. And when people understand, like, mate, at one point in time, you need to get this information. Like you're not gonna get a deal done if you don't understand if the person can invest money or if the person's serious or what kind of challenges they are. It's just the quality of your conversation will be higher if you know more, if you increase the flow of information.
Yep. Okay, great.
Cool. So link in the chat, just take that, basically like take the structure, do your own copywriting on it for your use case, put it live somewhere, just as a short form link or hyperlink, and then basically start doing that. The other one is automating meeting scheduling. Like Calendly link maybe is lazy, but I mean, the initial appointment setting is part of the customer experience. So it's still better for somebody like where you don't have a phone number to say like, hey, glad to jump on a call. Here's my virtual coffee link. Looking forward. And a person can click a button, select the diet, book it, rather than like emailing back and forth.
There's and just to put it into perspective, right? I think Calendly is great. I think just for it's all about how you communicate it, right? I would always say, hey, here's a Calendly link. Feel free to pick a slot that works for you, or alternatively, suggest 2 slots that work for you. But that's my style. That's my sales style, because I like to give them the option. If they think Calendly is lazy, then just go ahead and suggest a slot, then I'll do the work for you. But I think, and that it implies using Calendly is of higher value. By the way, just a tip, there is a cool tool called SavvyCal that actually mirrors your calendar with the lead's calendar, and it overlaps and it shows available slots. It's not a one-way street anymore, because I also think it feels so weird receiving a Calendly link. It has a little aftertaste, but here it allows you to integrate both.
Nice.
It's easy for both parties. Yeah. So just adding to that, I think that takes it to the next level. It's relatively new. It's done by a guy in the West Coast. I think came up with it half a year ago.
Cool. Just linking that to our group here. So basically sales learning, very interesting. Reduces friction in scheduling. So let's stay with Calendly for consistency. No, it's just like the new platform we're building. We integrate with Calendly because pretty much everybody has a Calendly link, and it enables us to like use the API and just like track what kind of like calls people book. Another thing, I think, when you automate meeting scheduling, it's really clear for you to set a clear agenda. Like you can do that. And I mean, so many salespeople don't set proper expectations and framing in the call, and you can automate that, right? every sales call that gets into my calendar, or one of my sales reps will say like, thanks so much for taking the time and bring any questions to make a commitment on the call or schedule a decision call. Suggest the agenda, status quo, objectives, challenges. Second point, like discuss how we can solve this, discuss collaboration models. Third point, like outline next steps, thanks for your time, happy selling. This is automatically done. But this is how this call is gonna go regarding the taking control part. People sometimes like, oh, let's follow your agenda. It's like, I didn't say anything about the agenda. Like, oh, right, like the call was just scheduled. There's an agenda in that, fine. So it takes mental load off your shoulders as well. Cool. The third one is really just leverage LinkedIn really consistently. Like when I was connecting with 20 to 40 people every day, automating it very useful. LinkedIn actually reduced the limit from like 80 people a day to I think 100 a week. So this keeping in mind that maybe you do like 20 to 40 now on every Monday, every Thursday. But I mean, for example, you can click on events on LinkedIn events, and there you can actually message people as well without being connected to them. It's pretty interesting. Also post regularly, like build your own authority in sales, like build your own authority for your product. And the thing is really consistency here. Consistency is really hard, but it's key in sales in general, but also with this stuff that pick up the phone every day, like post every day, takes you like 2 minutes, 15 minutes of cold calling, but you don't need to go incredibly fast, but don't go slow, how you would say in endurance sports. Like don't slack and just don't do it for a week. It's like sports or not drinking or whatever it is. I mean, create an accountability system, create a WhatsApp group, Slack group works as long as you keep each other accountable. Maybe you want to do tag teams within High-Res Academy, which is always 2 people. And you keep it, hey, where's your LinkedIn post? It's 10 p.m. Here's mine. Like, didn't get it done until today. Post something. Dolphy posting like, Amita makes me do this. It's like, yes, I
love that. Yep.
Cool. How many of you have received a video actually sales letter these days? Please briefly post. How many videos did you receive in all of 2021 via email or via LinkedIn? And how many emails do you get every day? For me, email is like 50 and videos in 2021 below 10. I actually like below 5 external. I would say 30 to 40 internal. I can then do it. 3 videos received. And Dominic's in a pretty innovative point of sales space and so on. The videos none, emails 5 to 8. I'm really happy for you that you only get 5 to 8 emails, Dolphy.
Yeah, that will change, Dolphy, later on, no worries.
Okay.
All replies from email campaigns. Cool, but I mean, the point is, everybody gets too many emails. Very few people get personalized videos, like pretty much nobody. Like use a LinkedIn native video via your mobile app. Everybody of you can basically take out your mobile phone right now. No videos, tons of emails, pretty usual setup. So I can actually go to, let me do this right now, actually to Amita. This one, right? We connected, I think, yesterday. So I can actually go on my mobile phone. I'm going to do this right now. All of you, please open your LinkedIn mobile app, go to somebody's profile, and then do a quick video. So it's pretty much go to the person, like his, basically, like plus video, and going like, hi, Amita, thanks so much for joining, for asking the first question, breaking the ice. You can also switch cameras. Hello. And you can show people around if you like. It doesn't work so much with lighting. Switch again. Ship, and that's done. And this way, like it costs you 0 money. It costs you, quite frankly, like less than a minute of effort. But Amita then gets an email to her inbox, which is something she might have seen before, might not, but it's pretty intriguing. Like it's safe because like it's inside of LinkedIn. There's 0 friction to go outside, so it's a bit better than Loom. But it's pretty quick to do. And your reply rate with this will actually be pretty high, typically. I mean, sharing like non-GDPR conform basically with just had lunch with Jeremias here, who's like one of the most successful founders in Switzerland. I asked him like, hey, cool sales insights on a podcast, sent him a brief video message like, hey, cool message. Yes, we can talk. Here's my email, like good, scheduled, fine. And this was literally like a day.
And that's
So-
great because see that fully pays into standing out from the crowd, right? You
Yeah.
don't want to come across salesy and you do want to stand out. And that can be in an innovative pitch, it can be in a really extraordinary, spectacular email, it can be in a very personal one, it can be in video. Video's great. And I know we introduce our high risers to Loom. We also use Loom for explanatory videos. I think that on LinkedIn, as it's native, it's great. Right. So
yeah, I think so. And maybe if I did a good job, I also did
you did
a video
Loom.
here. Yeah, so I sent, this was, I think, back in February. So when Dominic and I talked initially, it was like, hey, look, these are 3 things that can be useful. Let's discuss this. Here's a video, 3 minutes. If everything works here, this is why I really think the DACH B2B sales education needs to improve. So thanks for doing that. And then it's embedded. And also if you send an offer, for example, this is the way you can accompany it.
Yep. Yeah, you can convey your personality, right? Which is our big
Yeah.
strength as humans, especially if you have a great personality. And again, especially Mark, Dorothy, think about what we said, right? Many of us, but you in your calls, what you need to get across is your personalities. And video is something that allows you to do that, right? Allowing them to catch a glimpse of the personality that you have, that builds trust, that makes you more approachable, and increases the likelihood of at least you getting a feedback, right?
Yeah. I have at least 5 clients that basically are like, I signed up for this because this was the first time I received a video. It's like you put in the effort to do a personal video. I would not have signed up for this and thought it was maybe just a scam or whatever. By the way, I don't care if it's uncomfortable because right now everybody's taking notes, everybody's excited, everybody will say like, Dominic, the video is cool. Yes, we should do it as well. Somebody should do something about this. And not all of you will do 1 video every day. So create an accountability group, do it in high rise, and basically like 1 video a day and make this a sharing experience. So Dominic, make this, if you have budget for it, like put out like $50 Amazon voucher for the first person video, 20 for a second, 10 for a third, 5 for a third. Third person gets nothing. So
Love that.
everybody do video.
Love that.
Because otherwise this always happens, right? Like VP says like, oh yeah, you sales rep, everybody should do this.
it.
And then what I say is like, yes, dear VP sales, yes, dear CEO, you do it as well. But I don't know, maybe it's uncomfortable. Yeah, I don't have time, like bullshit. If you want your SDRs to do shit, like you need to do shit as well. I put myself on the exact same sales quota as my sales reps. So every time they come up, yeah, but I got shit to do. I also need to do this coaching call, and then I do need to go copyright and adapt the templates. Well, I'm writing your templates, mate. I'm doing also a few things besides being CEO and COO and other stuff. I'm creating the content you sell. It's like, yeah, but I don't have time. Like, yeah, I also don't have time, but like, it's the same quota, so I'm accountable to the same thing. And
Beautiful, love it.
Yeah, we'll see how long it takes until they overachieve me, so to say, but which is great, right? Which is the objective. And the last thing you mentioned, confidence, and I mean, getting a word-by-word sales script can really help you with that, because then you basically have always something to get back to, and it will always happen that somehow in this 8-step process, typically this is for a 45-minute sales conversation in the structure, somebody will put you off. Somebody will jump in a call and say like, Dolphy, like, just give me a price. Like, okay, I don't believe you. Like, give me a pitch, like, give me a demo. Like, yeah, by the way, like, what do you do? Like, why are you selling this? Like, yeah, I think this is better. So it's not to religiously follow the script and sound like a robot, but you always have a fallback scenario.
And just asking, Mark, Dorothy, does that sound familiar to you?
Yeah, I can recollect this. Yes, this is exactly what you've told. You have to have a script in front of you, but don't sound robotic. Don't sound like you're reading out of it. Just be more human. So yeah, I was just
read it out.
Yeah.
fill it with life. If people have apprehensions against scripts, it's because they don't act them out. They're not being read, they're being interpreted, they're being filled with life, with intonation. You can only focus on intonation if you don't have to focus on text, especially for beginners.
Yeah, and it's not that Leonardo DiCaprio follows a movie script because he's a bad actor and he never did a movie. It's not that Metallica as a song list because they never play guitar or never been singing. It's not that Roger Federer doesn't have a game plan because he's bad at tennis. It's so they have a plan they can fall back to. And I mean, in our case, like this looks something like this. So just showing you kind of our master script that we give clients so they can, I mean, essentially, this is literally just a looking text, how you say in German, right? This is like, hi, this is how this works. This is the introduction. This is basically like now looking forward. These are discovery questions. These are qualification questions. And then as an SDR, maybe your work already stops here, just qualify, disqualify, but then you can go further, validate the status quo thesis, validate like the pitch, basically which components are specifically relevant, then validate the business case. I mean, we have these mapped out in much more detail regarding the FAQ, but I mean, this is basically what you need to get in order. And we built the conversion table effectively for this, that you actually have, like I just went through the script and some other material and we ended up with, I think 50 plus variables across all these sections here. And if I could teach Google Doc how to basically fill in variables like a VLOOKUP here, then this would actually be pretty useful.
Now, right, to you high risers, don't be confused, right? That's further on or further along in a different stage, and that's also a discovery stage, right? So just don't think that you need to have a script like that now in place.
No, just do it for stage 1 to 3. Makes people happy if you're an SDR.
Yeah. So for us, it's a different objective, right, that we follow right now. But it's good, definitely, that you're paying into that even in the discovery stage, right, you have a script, you have a game plan, you know what you're asking, you know why you're asking it, you know what you're trying to achieve.
Yep, pretty good questions in between. So I just shared this deck in the chat here, so you also get the slides for it. I think here it is like PDF version of it. We briefly do that.
Great.
Shall I also put it to the Slack channel?
Please do. Absolutely. Yep.
Deck, not sales deck, but deck on sales it is. So I just put it here to the Hires Academy channel. Which one do you want me to put it? General?
Yeah, put it on general.
B2B sales quick wins. Sales playbook. Deck. So at Dom, at everybody, but you know.
Yep, perfect.
Cool. No, not connect. Yep.
Great.
What more questions do you have? I budgeted in consciously and a bit of more time than until 7:15. I don't know if you have a hard stop or some more questions.
Let's see what's coming back, right? Again, I want to be mindful of your time, but also of everybody else's time. First off, thanks a lot. I think there were some really practical things in there, and I love that the things that you highlighted are very much in line with what we're also teaching. Again, everybody in sales needs to find their own style. Authenticity is key, but basic rules, techniques, and frameworks remain the same, right? We all just have a different way of filling in with life. So looking at my high risers, Fidolfi, Amita, Luca, Mark, any questions that came up, doubts that you have? And there can't be a question that's stupid or silly enough. We're all here to learn. So you're not exposing yourself. Anything that came up or that you're wondering or that make you curious, then please share.
Zero questions. It's strange.
Always how it is. That's it's like the effect that you have in class.
Where's the discovery questions?
I found a lot of the information very helpful. it aligns with what's being taught in the curriculum as well. And it's good to hear from somebody out in the field that's has gone through the process. I like the one part too about when you're trying to describe like the how or how you can help versus what you can do for somebody and the reasons why. And there was one example where you said 7% or 70,000 euros or whatever. So sometimes I think it's interesting that it might change somebody's point of view if you present information a little bit differently, because somebody might think 70,000 euros sounds a lot better than 7%, depending on who you're talking to.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's also, I mean, see, the numbers help. I mean, now with the training companies that you four are doing sales for, obviously we don't want you to become product experts. We always say that, right? We want you to become sales experts. So you may not always have the numbers that the companies have come up with, right? The ins and outs on savings, efficiency gains. However, keep in mind, and that's module, I think 2 or 3, the buyer's journey. Right, to you, Manuel, that's something that's the basic concept, thinking from the buyer's perspective. If there's one big takeaway, be empathetic and think about where the buyer is in the sales process, and you need to tailor your story accordingly. So lots of times you four, and Dolphy has finished that, but Luca, Amita, and Mark, you will have to create awareness. They may not always even know they have a problem. So numbers, specific facts help with creating awareness, because at the same time, it also allows you to establish yourself or to position yourself as the thought leader, right? You take control, you challenge them, you make them think differently. Like, Jesus, yeah, I found it annoying, but didn't know it's that big of a problem. Maybe I should jump on the call with them, right? So ideally, there is something that you have. Again, you may not always have it, but if you can, quantify it, of course, right? Take the fluff out of the why. Any other
more
questions? Yeah.
Can already do this in stereo.
Yeah. Yeah.
Come on, guys and girls. One question.
One question I've just been thinking whether to ask or not. When do I consider, I mean, taking care of all these parameters like video prospecting or taking data into account and giving facts and figures, still if the prospect isn't responding, when do we consider it a dead lead and we put a full stop there, that no, I think there's no point? So is there, like, after these many follow-ups or this much of time frame, I should actually stop following up with this lead, though it seems to be a probable customer or one of those best buying personas that we have seen with the recent customer wins?
Yeah, it depends on the, yeah, excellent question. And I think it really depends on the priority that customer has. Is this one of the top 20 customers you need to win in the market to show the model works and to gain social proof? And then just don't follow up like every week, but just space it out. So if you did an email on today, Thursday, a follow-up email on Monday, a follow-up email on Thursday, didn't work, you're in between, you called once. Don't do this like every second day, will not help. So just space it out, like ask again after 2 weeks, after 4 weeks, then after 2 months, after 6 months. But stay consistent if you still want to win a customer. It depends a bit on the geography. Like in Western Europe, 3-4 emails cadence is typically what people are okay with, because I mean there's GDPR in place and stuff. In the US, like people are fine. Like if you have like an 8-step cadence and in between like 3 LinkedIn messages, that's what people used to, because it's so much more effed up regarding the intensity of the market. Typically, like I would run maybe a cold email campaign with 3 to 4 emails, and in between connect with people on LinkedIn, call once, and then either that works or like end your email, your sequence with like, hey, I didn't hear back from you, which is completely fine. I understand it's not a priority for you. I might get back to you in 2 to 3 months. So actually leave it open, you give yourself approval and actually like a connector to do it in 2 or 3 months, but you don't need to.
So I think, Amita, very, very important first off is silence doesn't mean no. Silence very often just means I'm too busy. I have 99 other things. I've never even looked at your email. I don't know you, so I didn't bother opening it up. Don't ever imply a no, right? Unless you explicitly get it. It's usually just that you've chosen the wrong timing or the wrong channel. That's why we follow up on different channels, making sure at one point in time you choose the right channel at the right time. That's also why we, usually you cold call first and you follow up via social. Again, LinkedIn is more and more important because people use it as branding. Usually they're more active. Sometimes cold email works. You combine it. And what Manuel said, and we covered it in module 6, it's called creating a cadence. You combine the channels. Some suggest a 2 week, some a 3 week, some a 1 week cadence. It depends on your industry. Also, practice tip. Manuel has already taken that up front, so I had to smile. I call it the anchor message. It's the last message you send when you haven't gotten any feedback. You say, listen, I haven't gotten any feedback. I'm implying it's not a priority to value add insert ABC right now. Please know you can come back to me at any point in time. For now, I'll stop right here. And then again, you put yourself a reminder in your CRM to follow up in 2 or 3 months' time. For maybe that is a better time then.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Great. So we're just about 4 minutes over, 5 minutes over. Any questions that come up? You know that Manuel was kind enough to offer his contact details, right? So connect with him on LinkedIn, definitely do. We're also here to build our communities, to help you build your communities, connect, follow up, any questions you have. Ask him, do not be shy. Other than that, Manuel, again, from my side, from our side, thanks for taking the time. Really big compliments. Great stuff in there, and I really mean that. The session's been recorded. I'll follow up with you as well, seeing how we can make use of it. If you can share a snippet on YouTube and or LinkedIn.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I'll follow up with you on that one. I will make it available to all other high risers that couldn't join today. And yeah, hope we see each other again soon. Hope everybody else has a good rest of their day. Also in Chicago, Mark, have a good day there, and see you all around, okay?
Thanks for joining. And Dominic, I think we can just stay on the call for 2 minutes. Probably easiest.
Beautiful. Will do.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Bye.
Happy hustling.